Okay, so Google's Nano-Banana just came out, Nano-Banana, sorry, which is available for all users, both free and paid, in Gemini Flash. And I tested it over on their AI Studio, so that's the Workbench kind of equivalent, and it gives kind of the same performance. So what I'm showing you, I did verify that I used the latest model, and I'm not really impressed. So here's an example. Here's a use case. I often give ChatGPT or other models, usually ChatGPT right now, blog posts or videos, transcripts, and I say make a thumbnail for this. And so I just published a blog post on Substack, and I said AI is not hitting a wall. And I said, can you make a thumbnail for this? And look at this. Like, this just looks like something that ChatGPT or Midjourney would generate. And I'm like, okay, it's not really hitting the wall. This theme doesn't really make any sense. And I say, like, something more on purpose. This is kind of random, and it adds text. Okay, sure, it's very clearly not thinking about what it's doing. And then I said, make it widescreen. It didn't make it widescreen. It just kept basically output the same exact thing. And I said, that's still square. It's not actually breaking through the wall. It's just a robot head looking at a wall that is exploding. Again, it outputs almost the same exact thing. I said, nothing changed, start from scratch. So then it outputs something that looks like it's actually just a picture of a widescreen format. And I said, remove the black borders on top and bottom. It should fill the entire screen, not look like it was cut for film. And then it gave the same thing. I said, that's not any better. And then it changes it completely, and it goes back to square. So my verdict is that this tool is actually kind of useless. I would not have had to have iterate this many times on ChatGPT. And you might say, well, Dave, you could have put in a little bit more effort to design something. But the thing is like when you want the AI to think for you or to be creative, because sometimes it's like, I don't know what's going on here. Like it should kind of do its own thing a little bit better. So I'm really kind of disappointed with this. It's clearly not the tool that they hyped it up to be, where you can just say, make a YouTube thumbnail. Because if you don't know this, literally this is the exact process I use to make all of my thumbnails now. Also, Google being Google, they can't get out of their own way, and they watermark it. Apparently you can remove the watermark somehow, but not in Gemini. I guess you have to use AI tools. So it's basically useless. It's basically a useless tool for anything other than something that looks like stock photography. So they created the fastest stock photography generator on the planet, but it's not going to be useful for blog post thumbnails or social thumbnails or that sort of thing, especially because they force the watermark. So not only is it not particularly intelligent and can't really iterate on images, it is fast. That's good. And it does produce images, but it's certainly like, it feels very last gen, particularly when you use thinking on GPT-5. Or I just say, like, here's a blog post, or here's a transcript, here's a video, optimize it for YouTube, give me some variations, and away it goes. So I'm not particularly impressed by Nano-Banana, but it remains to be seen. And honestly, this is not surprising for Google. Honestly, Google is Google's worst enemy when it comes to UX and boneheaded decisions like this. But it looks like they're practicing their hype engine in the same way that OpenAI has been practicing their hype engine. And I know that many of you will be like, wow, Dave, you sound really cynical. I'm trying to be more realistic lately, and also temper my expectations. I am still very bullish on AI overall, but Google being Google, they just shot themselves in the foot, as they often do here. So with all that being said, thanks for watching. Cheers.